Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to solve a single radical equation. This is actually the second one I've done for single radicals. I have another one where it's a slightly different variation, but you might want to try this one out because it shows you, like I said, a slightly different procedure. Okay, so remember, for single radical equations, you always want to start by isolating the radical. Let me write that out there. Now, in order to isolate the radical here, it looks like I'm going to have to subtract 3 from both sides. So let's go ahead and do that. And that's going to give me the square root of 5 minus x is equal to x minus 3. Okay, now, taking a look at that. Remember that the way you get rid of a square root is to square that side. So what I'm going to do now is square that side and square that side. Now, the square root is canceled by the square, so basically these go away, and you're left with 5 minus x. Now, over here, you're going to get a FOIL. Now, be careful. A lot of people want to just square the x and square the 3, and that would be incorrect. You actually have x minus 3 times x minus 3. So let's go ahead and FOIL that. You get x squared minus 3x, and then minus 3x again, which is minus 6x, and then negative 3 times negative 3 is plus 9. And let's just bring that down. Now you'll notice that in this line I have a quadratic equation. Now how do I know that I have a quadratic equation? Well, you know that because you have an x squared. And remember, when you have an x squared, you want to set the equation equal to 0, because we're going to use factoring to solve for that. So I'm going to subtract 5, and I'm going to add x to both sides so I can get that left side to be equal to 0. So let's subtract 5, add x, and over here I'm going to get 0. Over here I'm going to get x squared minus 5x plus 4. Okay? Now, take a look at that trinomial, that quadratic. Can you factor this? Absolutely you can. You're going to get x minus 4, x minus 1. Because remember how you do that. What times what gives you the constant, in this case 4, but when you add them, you'll get negative 5. In this case, it's negative 4 times negative 1, you get 4. Negative 4 plus negative 1, you get negative 5. So that's our 6th step. Okay, this tells me that x is either equal to a positive 4 or x is equal to a positive 1. And now what property is that called? That's called the 0 property. Basically that just means what factors do you need in order to equal 0? That means that one of your factors has to be 0. So if I put 4 here, you get 4 minus 4, or 0, and the 0 property comes into play. This times 0 gives you 0. Or if I put in 1, this becomes the 0, and it's 0 times this gives you 0. So again, 0 property works. Now we're not finished. What we need to do now is to check our answers. So let's try that. So I'm going to try 4 first. So let's check 4. Okay? 3 plus the square root of 5 minus 4 is equal to 4. At least that's what, if I replace the x's. And I usually like to put those in parentheses when I do that. So I'm going to get 3 plus 5 minus 4 is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. So actually 4 works. Now let's try it with check x is equal to 1. 3 plus square root 5 minus 1 is equal to 1. Let's see if that's true. That's 3 plus square root of 5 minus 1 is square root of 4. Uh-oh, I can see that it's not going to happen. And 5 is not equal to 1. So this is a false root. Okay? And your answer is going to be x is equal to 4. Okay, now I hope that helped. Let's go through the steps one more time real quickly. Remember, isolate your radical first. Go ahead and square both sides, which means a FOIL here. Now that you have a quadratic equation, you set it equal to 0. Factor, use the 0 property. Once you get your two answers, check them both because they might not work. In this case, it didn't. One of them worked, one of them didn't. One was a false root. And that is how you do all these equations. All right, good luck to you.